set, go.
Welcome back to episode 28. I'm here with Curtis, Remote Play Gaming Podcast, and hopefully we'll have another special guest here today. What's up, Curtis?
Not much, man. We're starting off strong. You're already frozen. We're about 11 seconds in. I love it. I love it. Giving the people what they want to see, what they want to hear.
It's what they might not see it. I might be skipping around, but they might not hear it. I don't know. But if you piece it all together, at least you have something. We got something good to look at over there in Bulgaria. What's up, man? What have you been playing? What's been going on?
Well, man, I got a list. How much time you got? I got so many things I've been playing, man. We talked about last time.
We got 1 hour,
right? We got 1 hour. All right, guys, saddle up. I'm gonna go on a monologue.
Yeah. An Evan style monologue. Here we go.
I'm gonna filibuster this whole podcast, bro.
You're starting with Dredge.
Starting with Dredge, man. We talked about Dredge the last time. Went around, looked at like where I could find it cheaper. You showed me this website that kind of like collates a bunch of sale prices for games, stuff like that, and found that it was like $12 on PS5. So I went to buy it. Then found out that it was actually on PS Plus. So I had at that time I still had like another 12-15 days left on my PlayStation Plus subscription. So downloaded it, played it through in its entirety. Had a really good time with it. Enjoyed it a lot. Kind of slowed down in the middle of the game when I was just kind of grinding out fishing for the money to upgrade to get all the upgrades for my ship and stuff like that. But overall, like really, really cool little game. Didn't overstay its welcome. I mean, there's so much extra stuff in the game that I didn't even do, right? Like I didn't go try to 100% all the different like species of fish and all that stuff, right? I know there's puzzles that I never figured out because there's like little totems that I would run into occasionally and would be like, oh, do you find a totem that's got like the image of a squid with a shark face on it? What do you want to do, right? I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do anything, don't care, keep on. But yeah, so enjoyed that game, enjoyed it a lot. Also found with PlayStation Plus membership, so PlayStation got a decent amount of gameplay in over the past couple of weeks. Cult of the Lamb was on there. So
did you like that?
Never played Cult of the Lamb on PC. My wife did. She told me that it was good. And then obviously my wife told me something was good. That can't be a real thing. So I just completely put that out.
Ignore that.
Exactly. So played through. I didn't play through that all the way yet. But so my subscription to for PS Plus is over now. I did not renew it because I didn't realize I didn't even realize that I was still paying for it, to be honest. But I didn't realize that they have like tiers where they like lock their games behind like either the basic one or the premium one and stuff like that. And so there was a couple other games on there that I was interested in playing. But they were all locked behind like their topmost tier, right?
Which you were in that middle normal tier.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm like, that's like the same thing Xbox Live does, right? That's never been an issue for me because I've always bought the premium package. But Cult of the Lamb was on the regular one. Started playing it, having a really good time with it. Like love the combination between like the roguelite battle system and then taking care of your city management area. Really cool, really fun. I ended up buying that game so that I didn't have to restart somewhere else. It was on, I don't know if it was on sale or if it was just a discount for being subscribed to PlayStation Plus at that time. Yeah. So bought it before my subscription ran out for $12, which was the cost of Dredge that I was gonna pay for anyways, right? So I was like, oh, okay, well that's a happy little accident. So still playing through there. I beat the first 2 bosses, and I believe there's 4, possibly a 5th one that has kind of been like led into a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Like I said, I'm not all the way through there yet. And also back on our last cast, we talked about Marvel Midnight Suns.
Oh, did you go back?
That I went back and I downloaded it, dude. I downloaded it. I've been on this Marvel kick recently, ever since I pulled out all this stuff for the Crisis Protocol game. And I was just like, man. So I went back and I watched Infinity War, watched Endgame, and then so then I was like, all right, dude, now I gotta go get some battles in me, dude. And so I downloaded it, played it, and pretty much quit exactly the same spot I had like an hour in. Because just walking around this stupid ass house is, oh, let's go watch a movie together. Oh, you want to go, jump in the pool? Like, no, I want to go play this battle system that somebody spent a whole hell of a long time developing and made it wonderful.
I wonder if there's like a mod for that on PC or just cuts all that out.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't even care about the story at this point. Each mission is its own little story in the first place, right? So I don't, just let me play like through all of the battles like as a mod. I thought that exact same thing actually. So still downloaded, don't know if I'll go back to it. Honestly, like the battles, I'm sure the battles get longer or more in depth as you go, right? But like at least up to the point where I keep getting just frustrated with all the BS is
it's boring. It's very quick. Oh, we lost him. We lost Curtis. Where'd he go?
I don't know what's going on.
And just like that, he's back.
Oh,
did you disconnect on me?
I have no idea. But anyways,
he said I'm out of here.
I got DC.
Yeah, but it's kind of shallow at the beginning. Like it's pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes twice as long to run through and talk to all the people and do all the shit before you can get into the next battle as the battle actually takes itself, right? Which is the part that I'm there for. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We kind of already talked about this last time. But I did go back and download that to give it another try, right? And was not entirely shocked that I still felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then
cool,
and then last, also hate the fact that Tony Stark has like this freaking like just gigantic mustache in that game for some reason. I don't know why I hate it. It's just stupid and out of place. Like homeboy, and it's not the game itself. The character's not modeled after MCU, right? Which is wildly different from the comic books themselves. Right. But the stash is just stupid. I'm sorry. And then last, and I think we've kind of got a shared game here, so there's a good transition. I can spit a few words, and then we can go over and see what you've been playing, what you've been thinking. I think it was last weekend, last Saturday, possibly last Sunday. You put it in our group chat that people need to check out this game called Blueprints, right? And I'm like, oh, I'll give it a download real quick. But in reality, what I had planned on doing with that day was painting some miniatures, right?
Yeah.
And so I downloaded this game, and then after about an hour and a half, promptly texted you my frustrations that now I was just going to be sitting on the couch playing this stupid ass game all day because it's so addicting, instead of doing actual work that I had planned on. So thank you for that. Yeah, Blueprints, first of all, love the name, right? When you type the name out, I was like, that sounds stupid, dude. That sounds lame. I'm out. And then you get in and you realize it's like a I don't even know what it's called, like play on words, but is it actually like a play on words though? I don't know, because like
no, it's also part of the story, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, right. So just starts off strong once you figure that out, and then just keeps building, right? Like the exploration of the game, the puzzles in every room, everything about it is top notch. I've had a blast, and I love the fact that there's no time limit, right? Like I can be in the middle of a thing, set my controller down, and go for like take the dogs out, go get a bowl of cereal or whatever, and then come back and literally nothing has changed. So like it's all played at your own pace until you run out of steps, basically, but that's part of your pace, right? The comic booky graphics, I don't hate, but I do dislike, and this is done intentionally, right, to make you pay attention to everything. But I hate how difficult it is to see some of the items that are laying around, because they
hold on. We have an incoming transmission. Incoming transmission.
Oh my
from
God,
Nintendo.
What was I
Good
just saying about
morning.
mustaches?
Good afternoon, good evening.
Is it? This is Evan right
That's
here.
the one, dude.
Evan,
Evan.
Evan is
Evan
Tony
Stark.
Stark from Marvel Midnight Suns.
I mean, that's I'll take it. You know,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I don't think he's the playboy billionaire philanthropist, but he's got the mustache.
He's got this.
Hey.
Step one starts with the stash, dude.
right? Yeah, I'll shave the rest of this, and then that's the first step, right?
I love it. I love it.
Welcome back, honorary guest. So we're going through blueprints. So Curtis, keep telling us about blueprints.
Yeah. So the items, right?
Yeah.
They blend in with the background so well, which again is like part of the game.
But the cursor's like so small too to like
exactly
put it on there.
And if you don't go like directly on top of that item, you're not going to get the little eyeball flash to indicate that it's like interactable, right? So that is probably my biggest nitpick with the game. I just wish they were slightly easier to see. Like I don't want them to be like a big giant highlight or something, like a big arrow, like come over here, idiot, there's a key here. But just the way the art style is done in general with the game and with the items and stuff like that, they all look like they're part of the same thing, which makes it really difficult to find some other things. So that's kind of been my only thing with it. But I mean, I love the tiles, the way you lay out the tiles, love the exploration, all that. I just finally, never mind. I don't give too many spoilers. I don't think it's a spoiler. I finally got out of the house and was able to unlock some of the stuff out of the house. Right.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
So that was where I left off earlier this week. I think I played 2 runs before, like while I was waiting for my takeout to arrive, right? And that's another thing that I was talking about, like the play at your own pace. It was just like, cool, I want to pick up and play for 40 minutes. Was able to run through it twice, like two different runs, and scratch that itch for the night and watch some TV and ate dinner. So yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just stay on blueprints since we were just kind of talking about what we played, and I think Evan's played this as well. So I'll go next, and we'll just toss it back over. I
thought you said blueprints, like the blueprints of a house, and like I just thought you were talking about something in Midnight Suns that I had no idea. And then
oh my god! And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. And this is why the show doubles in length of time.
I was like, I don't know what these blueprints are. I don't know what you're talking about.
So
amazing.
I just recently, I agree. I really like the game. Those are my same complaints. My other complaint is that I move too slow, even with the sprint jog thing. Like I feel like I move way too slow. Because at a certain point, like you're retracing steps, or like you've done that room so many times. It's like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna speed through this room or whatever. The recent thing I did, I finally got the boiler room. I don't know if anybody's gotten the boiler room, but that's a fun puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
And then I got the password in the computer. Has anybody done that?
Yep.
Okay, good. Easy one. Yep. And then I cracked open my first safe. So that's another one that I did.
Oh, I haven't seen safes yet.
Yeah, so they allude to them in one of the pictures that you can pick up early on, like the Christmas picture. You can see a safe in the background. Okay. And then in certain rooms you'll find a safe. I think there's a bunch of them, but I've only been able to open one. It's I don't know all of them, but I've read people complain about like that's one of the more difficult, like obtuse things to figure out. The safe later on safes, like say there's 7 of them, like 4, 5, 6, 7, it gets kind of like obtuse to figure out. But yeah. Evan, any thoughts on Blueprint? I love the game. I love the concept of the game. I love the pick up and put down nature. My kids will watch me play and they're like, ooh, can you click on that and things like that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, initially, I mean, I fell in love with it. The first several hours, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I can understand why it's getting all these like 90s and all this stuff. And some people saying best game, one of the best games ever made, kind of thing. As I've kept playing it, like I'm still really enjoying it. Still going to stick through for now. But it's progressing a little slow for me. I
Mhm.
probably because of some of those things that you like mentioned, like especially the movement speed, right? Like it's just kind of like, all right. And then I think, and it's probably in part why the way I play games, right? I am just trying to look at every little thing, see like, oh, is that cursor going to turn into a hand?
Yeah, it could be your worst nightmare
I
in
can
this
interact
game.
with,
Can I jump in just 1 second?
Yeah.
So I have a this was my exact thought when I did this, right? So my first, I think I'm up to like run 20 or cycle 20, whatever they call it, right?
Mhm.
Around like 15, 18 ish, I walked outside by accident and I was like, oh crap, you can go outside. And then I
Mhm.
was like, I started to like walk down the street and I'm like, why am I doing this? This is something Evan would do. Let me turn back around and go into the house where I'm supposed to be.
No.
And that was my exact thought, dude. My exact thought. And then I went like found all the other crap outside and I was like, maybe Evan's actually onto something.
I fully explored the outside before I went into my first room.
Oh my god, I love it.
I was like, they're pointing me. What's behind me? Oh, there's outside.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the way you zoom in, right? You zoom in from the outside. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go check that out. They want me to go into the house. I'm not going in there yet.
So both of you guys open the garage door?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Has anybody got the garage door open and the car keys in the same run? Because I have not.
No, I've had the car keys and I've opened the garage door. I have not done both.
Not at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do love that little shack. The little like just the
Yeah, it's great. Immediately when you get that part unlocked, spoiler alert for people. Immediately when you start the run, turn around and run out there and go do that thing, right? Especially if you want to get rid of like a dead end room, like a like get the 2 items or whatever. Just start off the item run with 2 items right away. Have you guys in the rooms that you can get by doing that? Have you turned on anything in those rooms?
Nope.
In the room
that you can get outside.
Oh, the last run that I did, I find is when I unlocked that. So I've only done the outside room just that one time when I open up the garage for the first time.
Okay, so I've done like 6 or 7 runs, maybe 8, where I've had that other room, and I just now noticed that there was something in one of the rooms you could flip, and then I found one in another room out there. So you really pull an Evan and look around and click things. Like it's hidden in some of the rooms. So
yes. Have you
and
gotten
it turns something on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's two of them at least.
Man, I was supposed to paint models after this. Now I'm going to be stuck in this whole thing again. Got to catch up to you guys, you brainiacs over here.
Have you, Curtis? Have you gotten the orchard?
Did get the orchard? Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get in the orchard yet.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
I'm behind. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was pretty. So I was having the exact same thoughts you were. I think Mark. Like when using the magnifying glass on every single piece of paper is like really frustrating to me. Because just like there's been a couple pages where like I could see it with like I needed the magnifying glass to use over it, but a lot of that stuff is like so well hidden you don't see it until you have the magnifying glass. Yeah. So you're like, oh my god, now I gotta get like I almost hate finding the magnifying glass because then I feel like required to use it on every single piece of paper I find. But when I figured out when I used the magnifying glass to figure that out to unlock the orchard, I was like, I'm a genius, dude. Like I'm just incredible.
It does make you feel smart. The game is really good
at
making you feel intelligent when you figure out some of these puzzles, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's also good at making you feel really dumb.
Yeah, that's true too. So do both of you guys get the thing with the pictures on the wall?
You were asking me that. I still don't know what that is, and I'm just like, I see them, and I'm like, what are you?
Like the drawings and stuff?
Yes. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, not a clue. I'm
you guys don't have any clue?
So, yeah, I'm like, cool, more chess pieces. Oh, cool, a tie. Okay, cool. Like,
there's 2 pictures in every room. Next time you see them, I want you to read both of them out loud what they are, and then find the difference between the 2.
Oh man, Oh man. All right.
I have been saying that like what they are out loud, and like
It might help you if you write them on a piece of paper. You don't have to do all of them. I mean, you actually do kind of need to do
they
all
do
of them.
tell you to take notes, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
But
I've
if you
been,
wrote
like,
it on a piece of paper, I think it would be very obvious what the puzzle is.
Interesting.
And there is a late game, mid game, late game, higher level room that lays some of this out, like that tells you like how the puzzle should work. But if you write these paintings down, the puzzle might come to you right away.
Okay. All right. Making moves.
Our listeners, I wonder if they've done this or not. Several of them are playing this, I know for sure, because they were talking about it in the Discord. So I'm curious where they've gotten.
They're all like, "Wow, these guys are idiots."
But it's funny. It's like it's taken like this vibe of like Edith Finch or something like that, from me. But like it's turned it into this like roguelike, you get the upgrades in a each room is like, like how you pick like an upgrade in Vampire Survivors, right? It's just kind of the three things. And stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know, just it is a very unique game. And it feels it's like, I mean, it's absolutely a roguelike, right? Like a roguelite anyway. And it's like, but it doesn't feel like that. The only reason it is that is because like it's like the whole game is built around this roguelite mechanic, but like it's progressive every single day. Like there's so much progression that you get throughout the game. Like it's kind of like, like Hades, there's progression every time you do a run, right? Like, but it's I mean, I know it's pretty cool though.
It's got big Outer Wilds energy for me. I know I don't think you like that game, Evan, but I loved Outer Wilds, and a lot of people revere it as like one of the, I don't want to say greatest games of all time, but like an all-timer game, like very unique, puzzly and stuff. And this one's really good without the pressure of the time and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. What is your most loved item? If you're gonna get one item, what are you taking on a run?
The metal detector.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh man. I'm trying to think of. So we've got the shovel, sledgehammer. I do like the die. To be able to reroll room.
Yeah.
Like it just, especially like when you get like in the late, you're just like, I don't know, you get stuck on like, oh dude, I can't get, I've got I have a room with no exit and then 2 rooms that require 2 gems, and I have 1 gem and no keys or whatever, like no other outlets, but I mean, I don't get the sledgehammer that often, and like I feel like I don't know, it's just like disappointing, like that it's only for chests, and I feel like when I get it, so it's like the magnifying glass feels like the most useful because you can pretty much use it every run. And same thing with the die, right? But the die is the one-time use. You mentioned, what did you say yours was, Curtis? Oh, the metal detector. I scavenge every room, so it's like it helps, but like I'm usually fine in that crap. So like like I don't know if I've ever gotten the metal detector and gone through a room I've already been in and found something, but it does save some time on a run.
How about lockpick? That's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah. I wish it worked better. Like I feel like the odds are like 1 in 10.
It's probably times where it's like I get 1, and then times where I get like 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
But man, when you need it, those late games, and you're like stuck on a locked door, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I'll go with the lockpick. What's the blindfold do?
Haven't had it.
I don't think I found it.
I think I found the blindfold, but I didn't use it. It's like a sleeping mask. It's a sleeping mask.
Yeah.
No, it adds extra steps to the bedroom or something like that.
Oh, I think you're right. Okay.
I've never found that one.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some runs, it's like steps are so like, oh my gosh, I need all the steps. And then some runs, I'm like at like, I have like 30 steps left, and it's like, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like
you lose steps. You can lose steps within a room. You know that, right? Okay. So you're like scavenging every room. I'm like, that's why the metal detector is useful, so you don't have to do that and waste steps.
Oh, whoa! Lose steps within a room.
Yeah. So if you, let's say, like test it out. Like normally, you like lose a step going room to room, but if you stay in a room and like run in circles, your steps will eventually go down. Almost positive.
I've not experienced that.
I don't think they do.
I'm almost positive. And then if I'm wrong, everybody can make fun of me in the comments.
All right.
Even more than usual.
We're all gonna, yeah, even more than usual. Yeah, we're all gonna test it out after this.
That's what I
What's
do when I go in the chapel is I circle the chapel, and then I go between all the pews, and
Looking for them keys.
yeah, because I've found coins like underneath a pew before.
I've never looked in the pews.
Really?
Okay, so this brings us to another topic. So I hate that room. So what's your most hated room? What is the least favorite room? I have two in mind. I don't like the chapel, but I'll kick this off. I don't like the 7-door hallway.
That one, I would agree. That one is. I think these are probably those are my two least favorite ones as well, because the chapel either does absolutely nothing for you because you found no gold that run whatsoever, or it always comes up in my experience in like a pivotal crossroads where you have to go back and forth a half dozen times, so you lose all your gold anyways.
Yeah.
And then I agree that 7-door hallway, where it's just a random chance on whether or not you are wasting.
Get a locked door. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I didn't know that worked like that the first time, and I opened the door. I'm like, all right, I'll unlock this one. Like, it's gonna take me to something cool. A fucking wall, dude. Like a wall. I'm like, my last key.
Yep.
I haven't had the 7-door hallway.
Yeah, it's rough. It's
That
annoying.
sounds like I hate it.
It's the 7 doors, but some of them don't go anywhere and they're locked.
But at least 3 of them, it sounds like, probably don't go anywhere.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, they're all of the doors in there are locked. So if you only got one key, 1 in 7 chance, maybe you're getting out of that room, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some type of combo thing that you can do with that makes it good, like where something stays unlocked. But yeah,
right. Like, yeah, the I love to hoard items in games, and it's like I just hoard it. Like I love stockpiling keys and gems early as much as I can, and I just hate when like it's just they just watching them drop, and it's just like that is one thing I don't like about this game, which is my nature, way I like playing games and like scouring everything, is like when I get to the end and it's like I have all these steps and I have like a bunch of locked doors and locked chests, and I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. I just have to leave these and never know what was in them or what was behind them or what the possibilities were. Like that's just it. I like that feeling. It's terrible.
I had and it still sticks with me, which I think is one of the amazing things about like this game, right? Is just like the memories that it creates, even though these runs last 15 or 20 minutes, right? I had a run where I was the gem king, dude. I had like 15 gems that I had accumulated through there, and I couldn't spend any of them, right? And then exactly like Evan said, I was just like, cool, guess I'll just go kill myself with these freaking gems that are going nowhere. Like I've never had more than like 3 in a run before. Now I'm
got all these gems and all I need is all I need is keys.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. There is a thing that lets you swap those. Have you run into that where you can swap gems to keys or like gems to coins?
But it's also requires like 5 gold or something to do. It's not a cheap exchange.
Yeah. I've never really been able to buy anything. Like I've been able to buy like 1 gem or something. Like the other stuff is so expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've had a couple runs where I've had like 8 or 9 coins in the where I could buy items, and I've bought like I bought things. I had one run where I had I want to say like 6 or 7 items, right? And and then I got the workshop, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Still couldn't combine any.
Still couldn't pair anything. And I was like, have you guys been able to use
you have to have the broken lever. I think you have to have the broken lever and something else. That's my hunch. But I can't
like one combination of things.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I want this to be like, like a Fallout. Like I used to spend a bunch of Fallout 4. I spent a bunch of time at the workbench. Just like, all right, I'm gonna grab this scrap and throw this scrap together. And now I've got a pipe rifle that I can turn into a pipe pistol or a pipe revolver. Like. But,
so the broken lever, I wasn't able to actually craft anything with it, so I think there's 3 pieces that you need. But the broken lever and the sledgehammer came up both green for me when I used that, and that's the only time I've ever seen anything come up as green. But then and like it was like there was still something else missing. There wasn't something like a button for me to hit craft or whatever, right?
Right.
So I think there's like a third part.
So it's not like a workbench. It's just its own puzzle too, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, all right, you got to figure out which items need to be to create this one item for this one thing. That's interesting. Oh, back to favorite item.
And there's probably some note somewhere that like tells the person to make what to make. Go ahead, sorry.
The recipe,
yeah. You're probably right. You know, like, oh, you know, Uncle Johnny had the,
yeah,
or the, you know, the gardener, but the lazy gardener, but
the lazy gardener.
But I do like uncovering, like I do read like all of the letters and stuff, like just because you're looking for clues, right? You're scouring for clues. So you're like, I can't not read some of this, right?
And they're not crazy long. They're not crazy long.
No. Most of them are not too bad. Yeah, sorry, I was saying the silver key, I think, is also one of my favorite items, because it's just
that's a very, very good one. Yeah,
that is a get out of, like, you know, a sticky situation near the end of the run, right? And it's like a guaranteed thing. I love guarantees. But
speaking of guarantees, have either of you gotten the permanent room?
The like the whole point of the thing or whatever.
No, there's a
permanent room. Well,
yeah, that you get, like, once you get it, you keep it, keep getting it.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's I don't know how to describe it. It has a hole in the ground in it.
No.
Okay, I just got it on my last run yesterday, so
okay. Mm-hmm. I do want to update before we move on to something else. I want to update my most hated room. Those the cathedral and or chapel, whatever, and the this locked doors. Those are super annoying. I think the most annoying one, though, is the one with the 3 boxes, with the puzzle with the 3 boxes. And
what?
Get this guy. I'll tell you why, dude.
It's a gimme.
Because you read those and you're like, oh, 100%, dude, this is the box. And you open it up and it's nothing. And you're like, are you effing kidding me right now? And you go, you slam that door shut, dude, and you start reading all of that.
I think one of us goes in.
I have never gotten that wrong. Not once.
Are you serious?
I slipped up one time where I opened the box and I was like, but other than that, like,
I'm like 50-50 odd for me, dude. Maybe a little higher than 50.
Your brain must be broken. One true, one false, and then you just got to compare, and then you find it.
Yeah.
It's always the box on the right.
You remember those like those puzzles we got in school growing up, where it was like, Johnny has you know, two of these, but it doesn't sit next to Kate, and then Kate's is to the left of Timmy, and you know, it's like, where does everybody sit? That's what those puzzles are, but like at the simplest level.
Yes.
Yeah, but I always got those wrong, dude. I had to take Algebra 1 twice.
I do like the billiard better than those rooms. I enjoy the.
I don't like the billiard because it doesn't follow PEMDAS, and that drove me insane.
Oh yeah, well, it's just So it sets.
It shows it on the right. It shows it. I didn't know that, but I'm like, this is PEMDAS. This is PEMDAS.
The way I had to fix that in my brain to be approve of it is that it tells you this is the order of operations, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is I 100% was like, this isn't PEMDAS. I was like, how would you even do PEMDAS? Because, like, you know, it has, I don't know. Yep. That's gosh. Please excuse
only millennials know.
Like, there was a letter to Dear Aunt Sally in there. Like, please excuse my Dear Aunt Sally.
Only millennials will know that. These Gen Zs are doing math some other way.
Right.
Common Core, bro.
Some other acronym. But, that's too
all
good.
right. Anything else on blueprints before we get over to our second topic, which will be the last one because we've got 30 minutes?
No, but I do want to give a shout out, if I can, to one other game I've been playing, Mullet Mad Jack.
Ooh, okay. Yep. Go. I didn't play it yet.
Oh, you guys got to play it. It's on Game Pass.
The reason I didn't play it is because it looks ultra violent, and my kids have been around, so I haven't had a chance to play it. But I did install it. It looks awesome.
Yeah. It's. I mean, visually, it's like there's not like it, you know, like. I play it at a super rapid pace. So all right. So Curtis, what this game is it's like a boomer shooter, right?
Okay.
But it's a there's some roguelite elements to it, and then there's it's more of like you're going on runs, but there's still a sense of progression, not too dissimilar from oh gosh, it's so good. Uh the blueprints in terms of like, every time you start a new run, but it's not like days or anything. Gameplay is completely opposite of blueprints. You are not looking at anything. You are just getting to the end of the level, right? The objective is to, like, there's like an elevator at the end of the level because you're climbing up this tower. You're trying to save the princess, but like, dude, like this theme, it just drips with this 80s like future of these neon colors, like I'm trying to think of just like almost like, like the cyberpunk type of stuff, right? All the
this makes me think of like Hotline Miami plus Boomer Shooters. What this makes me think
yes
of.
Yes, that's
and
really good.
I can't play this with my kids with this guy getting shot in the dick.
Right. Yeah. So it's highly accurate. So, and what you are is like, you're the dude that's on the screen here, right? On the phone. You're pretty much this dude. He drives like this old, like, 80s Firebird. And he's just Mr. Cool Guy from the 80s, right? And you're in this like dystopian world, and like, where it's like life is your life second, like the amount of life you have, like the time that you can live is like based on hits of dopamine, right? So you're live streaming, right, to the internet your runs and killing these robot guys, right? And you've got like this this girl that's like kind of hosting your stream, and you can turn her off, I guess, if you want. I've never turned her off just because I'm just leaning into the full, like, whatever they've got going on to it. Like, the music's so good, but like she's like, all right, you got to get to the 10th floor. The princess is now on the 10th floor. She's like, all right, your streamers. And every time like you kill somebody, like the streamer, your fans that are watching you, that's I want to say that's the princess, but your fans are giving you likes and stuff like that on the stream. So that's what gives you your hit of dopamine to give you extra seconds in your life, right? But you have like 10 seconds for each level at the skill level I'm playing at. Like, there's a bunch of different skill level and accessibility options. I'm playing it just like pretty much like the most basic that doesn't like really like fully take away anything from the game. Like, so because you can do like no time, no anything like that, where it's just like, this is not the way it's meant to be played. It's accessibility option. I may at one point do that, but like, I'm just having so much fun going through this game. Like, and it's just, I'm telling you, like, if this theme like at all looks at like, it just, like I said, it just completely drips with the theme in here. And but yeah, it's this like fast paced, I mean, the levels are like anywhere from like 20-ish seconds to like 50 seconds you're beating a level, right?
That bite-sized. Okay.
And yeah, and I hardly stop and I look for vending machines. You saw some vending machines, some of that. I'm looking for vending machines, bad guys, and doors, right? And you're just basically, vending machines give you extra life, killing bad guys gives you extra life, and doors gets you to the end of the level. And that's really all I'm ever looking for. And then at the end of the level, you have the again, I'm gonna call it the Vampire Survivors level up upgrade kind of thing, where it's like you pick between three things for an upgrade. And then like there's things like that, you permanently, or not permanently, for that run you have 1 extra second of life, so now you have 11 seconds for your life, or now you can pick like the shotgun, or you can pick up just different upgrades, like you go acid no longer hurts you, or just like different upgrades.
I'm definitely trying this. I might have to try this after get off the show here.
It's a mark kind of game. I think it might be. Do you like old boomer shooters and stuff, Curtis?
I typically don't like the Warhammer came out with one about last year, I think. Bolt gun, and I was super pumped for that, and didn't really sit well with me. But I mean, if I'm beating levels in 30 seconds, dude, that's like just I mean, your character's getting dopamine hits, and so am I, right? Like,
yes, absolutely. And so I'm not big on boomer shooters either. Like, I want to like boomer shooters. I love the history of like Doom and Quake and Wolfenstein and all those things, right? Like, and when Quake. Was it Quake 2 can't hit like Game Pass? I was like, all right, I'm gonna download Quake, and like I'm playing like Quake, and I'm just like, first off, I'm terrible, absolutely terrible, especially on like multiplayer. Like, there's these boomers that have been playing for 40 years, right? So that like, and I'm just like, I just get wrecked. I'm just so bad. And I was like, oh man, I am. Bring me in at one like progression level beyond boomer shooter, like GoldenEye or Halo CE, right? That's a couple steps above a boomer shooter, but just above that. Go ahead.
This is an 88 on Metacritic, by the way.
It's so good.
8.2
It's
on
so
users. Good score.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like you said, well, I'm getting dopamine hits in the game. I'm getting dopamine hits in real life because it's just
You feel like you just played it, man. You're going. You're buzzing right now.
He's
I'm
on
telling you,
man.
he either injected coffee into his veins or he played Mullet Magic. I'm not sure.
I did just knock back some coffee, right? But no, yeah, I've been bouncing between this and Blueprints, right? And it's just like they both satisfy like so like completely different like just desire. Like I'm just like, all right, dude, I just don't want to think right now. I just want to go like just sit here some fat, like, and it's just like completely opposing. They've been perfect complements to each other. When I sit and when I sit down to play at night, like what am I feeling? Or it's just like, all right, I'm done with Blueprints, but I've still got a little time, so I'm just gonna go do a few, do some magic. And it's like it's every 10 levels, right? And then the princess is the princess is not here. Try another cat. Like there's a lot of like old quips or whatever from just
references.
Yeah. Easter eggs or whatever. But and you're climbing up the building, but man. Go check it out. Oh, and there's a boss level at the end of every like 10 levels too. So and those might they turn the time off for that, and they're pretty decent boss levels. Mark, don't be afraid to like just turn the skill level down if you're just don't turn it like I'm not turning all the way off because I want to have a little bit of a challenge, but I'm not sitting here trying to I'm not trying to be a tryhard. I just want to I want to have to like get better, but I don't want to just like have to commit my life to getting through this game because like I do have to like reset runs a lot and stuff, and it's just like but they're so fast that it's like I don't care, whatever, like I'll reset runs, and then your progress is saved every 10 levels, right after you beat each boss. So I'm at like level like 30 or something like that right now. I can't remember which story, but it's just like so it now when I go back, it's not like I have to every time I die I go back to level 0, right? There's some progression there. So
do you keep all the the upgrades that you've gotten up to
there are some permanent upgrades, which also is a good that's definitely like almost a requirement for me in most roguelites is that like there's some permanent progression, right? And my character as well as story. Honestly, permanent progression in my character is almost more important for me. Where it's like, so I don't like true roguelikes where it's just like, all right, you start over and you have nothing you've done before means anything other than the skill that you've gained. And like the actual skill as a player that I've gained. And it's like, well, that does nothing for me in a video game. There's been very few video games where it's like I actually enjoy that. And if it is, it's probably more like a just like a more traditional arcade game, right? Like if there was like a Pac-Man roguelike, I'd probably be okay with that or something like that, But because like that's how video games were. You got better at like learning the levels, like right. You learned the level of Pac-Man, right? How to navigate around Pac-Man. So it's like you took that, but it's like it was all skill based, right? There was nothing you took from one game to the next.
Right. I got one more question. How much are you being paid to sponsor Mullet Magic?
Oh man, I would pay them to sponsor.
Okay, so I got one more really quick. I don't want to. We're going to dive deep into this. We can do it next time. But South of Midnight, I did fire this up and give this a shot for hour to 2 hours. 2 hours. Have either of you played yet?
Not yet. No. I am going to actually try it though because I was watching my boy. You guys might know him, Jake Baldino. He was talking about this game, and he told me that you can actually turn off the claymation, the stop motion claymation thing, which is what I hated about this game to begin with. So shout out to whoever thought that was a great idea, because that's the reason that I'm going to play it.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't look that bad. It's really in cutscenes. So any of the cutscene stuff starts to get that claymation thing, but I didn't notice it too much when actually playing the game. But I guess, if it bothers you, definitely turn it off. So far, like the story's really good, the writing's good. The platforming and like action adventure parts are good. The combat is really boring, and that's kind of something I've read online as well. Like once I played through a couple hours, I'm like, let me read like what people are saying about this. And the positive thing I saw was the combat gets way better and has more depth, but it takes too long. Was everybody's review. Like several people are like, it took too long for me, like I dipped out. And then other people are like, well, it sucks, but if you get several hours in, there's a lot of depth added to the combat. But like as it starts out, it's like super boring. It's like tap X, tap X, tap X, dodge, tap X, tap X, tap X, dodge. Okay, now there's 2 enemies. You get some abilities where you can like push and pull people and stuff. And then I assume it's going to get better. But I do like it. The kids were kind of watching me play it, that they were interested in kind of what's going on, and you got all these, mythical things, and the story, and there's a big hurricane storm going on and you're platforming through it and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I think it's probably worth people's time, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 3 of us bounce off of it. But like I said, everything about it so far, really good. I would give it like only 2 hours in, but early review would be like an 8 out of 10. The combat's got to get way more engaging though.
Yeah, this is like, I don't understand at what point in time we like just became okay with having to invest hours to get to like the point where the game becomes playable, right? Like it's basic game theory that you take the coolest shit about your game and put it up in the first, 20, 30 minutes. And we continually keep running into games where it's like, yeah, this game's actually really good if you can stick through the first 30 hours.
Right.
And it makes no sense to me. But I am super
this is like
intrigued.
a 12-hour game, right? So like this should be, it's one thing like Xenoblade Chronicles games, right? The Xenoblade games are kind of known for like, once you get into like hour 15 or 15 to 20 hours in, it really like it all starts to click and puts together. But it's like that's a 130-hour game, right? Or like the Persona games, right? Like those, like once you get about, like and as long as you kind of know that, like, I think there's a place that, right, there is a fan base for those games, right? Those Xenoblade games have a very, passionate following. Same thing with Persona, right? And they've kind of blown up in the last decade for what they have, from their niche used to be a lot smaller.
Right. But to get a game off the ground like this and not have that same.
Right.
When it's only, 12 hours.
It's, it says 9.5 hours, 16 hours if you 100% on how long to beat. So probably like 10 to 12 hours, which I didn't know that. So I'll probably just try and finish it like this weekend, next weekend, knowing that I'm in it. I'm wondering when the combat gets better than if I'm already a couple hours in. But
yeah,
Curtis,
seriously.
I'll ask. So do you think that mindset that you're just like the mentality that you have you always had that mentality, or do you think that's something that as we've gotten older and it's just like time becomes a little more precious that has become more crucial for you?
That's a really philosophical question there. I don't know that I have an answer for that right now. I think I need to think about that. I'm trying to think of some of the games that I've played like over and over and over. I don't recall any games like that where you're just playing for the sake of playing and then all of a sudden it gets great, right? I'm sure there are some that I've played. I just can't. None of them are coming to none of them are jumping out at me right at the moment. But I'm gonna think on that and post in the Discord or in the comments or something if I come up with any titles like that.
Yeah, because like I mean, sometimes games also just require like a little bit of like there requires just a lot of development for things to be able to take off because there's a lot of like complexity and depth to the game.
Sure.
Right. So like, I mean, take a look behind you. Right. And let's take it off the screen and put it on the table. Right. I mean, there's how many tabletop games have you played where it's just like, there's a lot of like setup or character creation. Right. And like, development, you've got to roll character traits to create your whole character. Right. For something like D&D, right. You're designing a whole character. Right. And there's a lot of, and it's like, sometimes like it's at its best, right, when in a video game or a tabletop game, when that part is also really fun, right? Like, and some people really enjoy that. I don't enjoy character creation. If I could, I might enjoy D&D way more if I could hit X, right, and randomize my character, which is, I suppose, what Baldur's Gate 3 exists for. But
right, yeah,
but yeah, so like that's yeah, it's just kind of curious because it's just kind of like funny listening to you say that, and I'm just like looking at all those books behind you. And
you're not wrong. That's a valid point. That's a valid point. I don't disagree with you. Like I said, I just can't think of anything off the top of my head that like I remember playing when I was younger. I guess outside of MMOs, right? But I think those are kind of like that by design, so that they just can keep getting that subscription cost out of you. But like a single player like title, nothing is really jumping out at me right off the top of my head.
Yeah. I agree in some sense. Like I think like Breath of the Wild takes a little bit to get going, but I think it's going right off the gate. I guess like Starfield was one that took about 10 hours to get. I think some people said 7 hours. For me, it was about 15, and it was probably the same point for because before it got going, but it's like I ended up putting 90 hours in, and while I didn't, that's probably my least favorite Bethesda RPG, between like Fall, Elder Scrolls, and Starfield. Starfield's kind of at the bottom, but that's a high bar still, right? I love pretty much any Bethesda game I played, and I just really liked Starfield. But I think there's some, right? Like for me that Starfield, like I said, was the one. I don't know that any of the. I mean, do you feel like that about Skyrim or Fallout or any of those games? Did those take a little bit to get going? Because I remember Fallout 3. Right, going through the vault, and I can't remember Fallout 4. Fallout 4 didn't feel the same way because you didn't have to do this whole like vault introduction, right? It was you did the introduction prior to the vault before you went into the vault, right before the bombs dropped. But and that felt a little like less like I enjoyed that part a little more than I enjoyed the vault portion of Fallout 3. I can't. And even more than I enjoyed the section in Fallout New Vegas, I believe, where you were, lying on that bed with the doctor or whatever. But and trying to remember your past and stuff like that. But so anyway, I guess that's my question, right? Because you enjoyed Skyrim and Fallout games, right?
Yeah, of course. Just not to your level. Like I think I've only played through Skyrim maybe 2 or 3 times, and I think Fallout once, maybe twice. So I wouldn't say. I'd say I'm average fan, vice, super fan, somewhere in there.
Sure. You know what game doesn't have that? Mullet Mad Jack.
Mullet Mad Jack. I love it.
He gets paid per time he mentions the title of the game.
It's kind of fun to say, Mullet Mad Jack.
All right, we are coming up on an hour. This is normally where we would wind down, but we can't go without talking about this. So we're not going to go for 2 hours. So I will cut us off at some point, but we gotta talk about Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2.
Got the resident expert here.
We got the
new game that's coming out.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to put on my headband for a battle here because I feel like you two are gonna rumble, and I'm gonna have to come in and stop things. All right,
I'm just gonna take my headphones off for this.
I don't even. I'm gonna call it good.
I don't want to hear it. So we've got the Switch 2 coming out. What's the date, Evan? It's coming out
June 5th.
Yep. Okay. Pre-orders were live in some countries, not in others. So not to get too political here, but we got some tariff issues going on, and Nintendo had paused pre-orders for the U.S. and anybody else? Just U.S.
Canada.
Okay.
Like North America, basically.
So we had that going on. Now the pre-orders are going to go live in when?
April 24th, Thursday, April 24th.
Okay, right? So like by the time you listen to this, a few days later, right? No increase right now to the console price, which we'll talk about in a second, and then like $1 to $5 increase on each accessory, depending on like the amount of the total cost of the device. So Switch 2 right off the rip. Curtis, impressed by the Switch 2 or no? I'm gonna moderate this thing and go back and forth.
Hey, I think the new look of it is very sleek.
That's not high praise so far.
Yeah,
we're here to play. We're here to play the games, not look at the console.
The visual, like the appeal of the thing, I can definitely see. It's got those sweet, nice bevels on it. That's about it. Honestly.
Okay. All right. Evan, Switch 2 looking good or not looking good? And I don't mean what Curtis said. Like literally looking good. Well,
Yeah,
quick thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think it's I mean, I'm excited about what they have, you know, the 124 hertz variable refresh rate screen, right? That it's getting the LCD's getting a lot of praise. So it's just like, as far as like a hardware upgrade, this seems to be like a really like big substantial hard upgrade hardware wise from the Switch 1, right? And I'm excited for it, right? I do like the smaller size of the Switch, and it's like I've even like kind of wanted to pick up a Switch Lite just for that compact size for a portable device. But there's value to having the larger device, and it's just like there's it's a significantly larger screen than the Steam Deck at about the same dimensions of the Steam Deck. So that's kind of cool, right? Like you're getting just more screen space for the size of the system. So
yeah, overall it's price wise, which we'll say in a second, is I think it's pretty good bang for buck, right? In terms of what you're getting in terms of handhelds.
For the console itself,
for the hardware,
the system itself,
which is $450 US. Bundle $500 with Mario Kart World. So now we're gonna dive into Mario Kart World. No price yet. Curtis, did you watch anything about Mario Kart World? Are you interested? If you did watch anything, is there things you like or didn't like about it? Well, I'll put you back to Evan after that.
I mean, I didn't. I watched like this was the game like all of the reviewers and the folks in the reporting industry were like given the first crack at it, like kind of like the unveiling, right? So that's what I saw. I didn't watch if it's already happened yet. I don't recall. I didn't watch the Nintendo Direct that kind of went into a little bit more detail on stuff. But to me, yeah, I mean the graphics looked okay, right? Like they didn't really scream extreme update compared to Mario Kart.
True to form, my man goes right to graphics first. Keep going.
Wait, I listened to the last episode. I thought we were past this, Curtis.
He's done a heel turn.
It depends. It depends. It's that classic it depends answer, right? But it looked like Mario Kart. I don't really have anything.
You're stinging Evan. I see Evan's flinching down there in the screen.
The cow hasn't sold you, huh? The playable cow
just hasn't. Do
you know what the character's name is?
No, Curtis.
Cow.
No. If they named it after me, then I would have played it. But yeah.
All right. So Curtis unimpressed. He said it looks cool. It's Mario Kart. Yeah, it's like great. Okay, Evan, impressed, unimpressed. Mario Kart World.
They could have named it Mario Kart Horizon, right?
Breath of the Mario Kart Horizon.
Well, yeah, it takes a lot from for Forza Horizon, and it does feel like they're kind of trying to Breath of the Wildify Mario Kart here a little bit. The open world aspect, or the open Rome is what they call it. It looks. I'm really excited about it. I think I'm gonna get. This looks like more than Mario Kart has ever been, right? Which it better be for reasons that we'll talk about, but it looks like this is more Mario Kart for me than it's ever been too. And I've always loved Mario Kart, but I've always like I've enjoyed going through like all the different Grand Prix or whatever. But this looks like a game that will definitely have me. I do wish, from what we've seen so far, the open Rome does not look as dense as I would like it to. But like I will say, like in Mario Kart, I've always been like, you always see like these trailers of Mario Kart. You like watch anytime I watch anything about Mario Kart, you see these really cool levels and all these like different things. It's like they put a lot of detail into these like Mario Kart maps and worlds and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I never notice any of that when I'm playing because I'm just focused on the race, right? And I think with the open Rome, that's going to allow me to appreciate the level design and stuff like a little more, right? The design that they put actually into the map of the game. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Especially, as long as I get the bundle.
So you're feeling pretty positive about the game, and you liked some of the stuff they brought to the series.
Yeah. There's some things I'm wishing were there, but overall, I'm really excited for this game.
Okay.
This
All
is
right. Yeah.
this
So
is super
for
interesting.
listeners and Curtis, who probably doesn't realize what's going on, go ahead.
Yeah. So what Evan just said is exactly how I felt when I don't remember who did it first, like either Need for Speed or Forza, something like that. Where they basically made this giant open world, and it's like, oh, you can just drive over here and then get into a race that starts in this part of the world, right? Otherwise, you can just drive around and then have a good time. I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. Let me try that. And then I was like, okay, this is just a racing game that now it takes me longer to get to the actual race because I have to drive across the world to actually get to it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how Evan likes it when he gets his hands on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping it's. I was say like I don't think it's going to be as dense as something like Burnout Paradise, right? But and I never put a ton of time into Burnout Paradise and put even less time into Forza Horizon 5. I've downloaded Forza Horizon 5 on the Series X, like when I first got the Series X, right, just to kind of get a visual showcase of what the Series X can be, right? And but I played it for maybe an hour and I'm just kind of like, all right, like I said, it was just kind of like a lot of room. It looks pretty and like I kind of like, oh, I can look around and stuff. I'm hoping it's and I kind of expect it to be a little more dense or a little more for me that I expect there to be a little more pull out of a Nintendo game, right? There's just going to be a little more charm as opposed to just like, oh, let's be visually beautiful like Forza does, right? Push graphics to limit, because you know how much that does for me. And I'm sure there would be a little more charm. There's those P switches that are throughout, right, that are creating little challenges. To me, I'm like, those are the shrines from Breath of the Wild, and it's like or the the little challenges you get in like Mario Odyssey, right? Because there's a little bit of platforming now that now there's a jump, right, in Mario Kart. And so I'm hoping that there's just enough there to keep me pulling me through, and keep. But I do understand your feelings for that, Curtis.
Okay, you guys are supposed to be fighting, not cordially. Like, when am I supposed to come in and do this? But yeah, so for the listeners and viewers that haven't been privy to like what's going on with this game, but these guys already alluded to it. You have this giant map you can see here that we're sharing. Like, there's race courses all over this giant like Breath of the Wild, like Fortnite looking map. And so there's a couple different ways you can play the game, right? So you can free roam. You can literally just drive around by yourself or with your friends online or locally or nearby. You can just start races. You can do the classic Grand Prix, which is like you pick 4 races, and it's actually gonna they're in sets of 4 like normal, but they're kind of semi-connected, so they'll be in somewhat of the same area of the map, and then in between each race you drive to the next one, and there's like little funny things you can do and drive together, against your opponents or whatever, between the races. And then there's the new knockout mode, which sounds awesome as well.
Can I ask a question about the Grand Prix? So, did you watch the Treehouse? I think you said you and your kid watched
twice over. Yep.
So for the driving to the next race in the Grand Prix, is that a part of the actual race? Like, so are you racing and then you get to cross the finish line and then you're racing to the next race, or is it just kind of like almost like a loading screen type of like, oh, do this while you're okay? Because I was like, I kind of hate that. If like it's just like, how's that anything other than just one big race? If you have to get from one race to the next.
So that would be the knockout mode, right? So the knockout mode is like, in this game now you have 24 racers, right? Used to be only 24 racers. And so you drive these 4 courses. I don't know if they'll have different ones, like different lengths, but in the for the first course, only the top 20 survive. So if you're the bottom 4, you're out. And then you just keep driving and you got to try and catch up and go to the next race. And then it's like the top 16, top 8, top 4. And then that's it, right? So the knockout mode seems like really interesting. Just something that seems kind of a good twist on the formula. You mentioned that there's going to be like these side quest things throughout the world. I would imagine they'll probably update the game. I don't know how they're going to add all these courses. So like Mario Kart 8, right? They added tons of courses. I don't know where you add that on this map. Maybe they put them in between these spots. And, does a separate island come? I have no idea how they do that. Maybe there's an underworld like in Tears of the Kingdom that we have no idea about. I don't freaking know. But Overall,
cool, like to
it's
see like, oh, like all of a sudden like construction happened, like the world is living
Yeah.
world, right? And then it's like, oh, new construction, you're
that's
like
very
locked on for
Fortnite-ish.
a week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in Fortnite, they'll do that. You'd be like, you load in on the latest patch and be like, ooh, this area of the map changed, or like literally a building's like half constructed. And then when the new season starts, it's a new area or whatever. So I do like that they're trying something different. This isn't the same. There was a lot of jokes that they would just cash in on the same Mario Kart 8, and they at least are trying something different here. So I'm all about that. So let's go back to the price of this game, and I'm gonna pull up the other tab here, and we're gonna start with our boy Curtis. If you guys can see on the far right there, this is an $80 game. Curtis, how are we feeling about paying $80 for first party titles?
Not a limited edition, not a special edition, a collector's edition.
Nope.
$80 base game.
Just straight for the base, plain Jane. Here you go version. This is almost said some bad words. This is outrageous. This is outrageous, dude. For like exactly like Evan said, not the special edition. You're not getting like a cool little Mario Kart, like little dude that you can put on your shelf. You're just
I want the cart for the $80, bro. I want the whole cart.
Yeah, like you're just this is
you get the cartridge.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. So we went like 15 years from that price jump of 60 or 50 to $60, right? And then another 15 years from 60 to the 70 that we're at now. And now these guys just are like, oh, by the way, we got a new console coming out. We're gonna make our stuff $80 now just because what the hell, we're Nintendo and we think people will pay it. If this trickles over, and so we've been paying $70 for games now for about 2.5 years, maybe
5 years.
And
$70 since the consoles came out 5 years ago, right? Since the PS5 and Series X.
Have they all been 70?
Xbox took a little bit for the first parties to go up to $70. They were 60, but PS5 and like Demon Souls was a launch title for the PS5, $70. Call of Duty went to $70. 2K, all those games went to $70 right in 2020.
NBA 2K21 in the year 2020 was the first $70 game.
In the year 2020, all right, whatever, a couple years. Regardless. If this trickles over into the rest of the industry, because everybody else is like, oh, sweet, dude, the people pay $80 for that crap. We can slap that $80 on our tab. I'm out. I'm done. Class action lawsuit against these Nintendo dudes. They're gone. We're shutting it down. Cancel culture. Adios. You're gone. You're basic.
All right, you ready?
Also, no, not ready. Also, just want to go out on a limb here and say, with the price of that Mario Kart, Evan could purchase half of his Steam wish list for the price of that one game
on a sale. Yeah,
half.
That's like 500 games.
And what is the price of the digital copy of this game?
$80.
Okay, so it's also 80. Yep,
Outrageous.
Okay,
right.
Evan, positive or negative on the price?
So.
Oh my god! Here he goes.
All right,
sounds like a lawyer, public defendant.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? $60 video game, sold 60 million copies. If you count the Wii U sales, which is insane because it's like, how could you like this only sold 13 million, but it sold to half of the users, and I think it had like a over 50% attach rate. So you're pushing 70 million sales of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? Nintendo looks at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as okay, well, we have a way more video game here than we have in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. As a business, right? They're looking at this. Okay, well, I mean, what are the odds that we're going to sell 70 million, right, of these again? Probably, maybe, right? But if we sell that in a capitalist world where we're supposed to, infinite growth, right? How do we get more money out of this Mario Kart game that we put more money into than we put into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I mean, it had to cost more to develop Mario Kart 8 World than it did Deluxe, right? Probably. how do we get more? How do we get even the same return of investment on this? Right? Yeah. It's not going to be by selling more units. So it's got to be by either selling the game, increasing the price of the game, or microtransactions, right? I'm sure we'll get DLC for it, right? And that'll come in. So that's another way. But they also had DLC in Mario Kart 8. So and they sold the game twice to people, right? Once on the Wii U and once on the Switch. But so I mean, you look at it and you just gotta like say from Nintendo's perspective, this is what they're doing, and it's absolute hot garbage. So there's no way, okay, so they've had one game, right, that has been $70, right? Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
To me, still way more of a video game than what Mario Kart World is going to be. Maybe that's a little bit of bias. Like, there's multiplayer component to it in Mario Kart World. There's not in Tears of the Kingdom, which is a component.
No, but you're probably right overall, right? Like,
right.
When you just have yeah, I test. You're like, okay, there's way more going on in Tears of the Kingdom.
Wrong. Maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe this will be as much as there is in Tears of the Kingdom. We'll find that out once we're playing this. In a couple months or a month and a half, whatever. But yeah. So either way, right? So you have one game at $70, and they're 4 years late to the game, 3 years late to the game on jumping to that, making that $70 price jump after everybody else is kind of making that $70 price jump, right? They're like, all right, we've got this big old game. It's a complete package, $70. Let's throw it out there, and then they come out their next game that is above $60. Yeah, let's just skip that $70 and go right to the $80 price jump, right? Like, what are you doing? And it's just like, you're launching with this. This is what you're launching. You're like, all right, look, we really like we're coming off hot, and it's like, in their head, they're like, all right, we sold 150 million Switches, right? We sold 70 million copies of whatever Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. All right, we're going to come out with the successor to this 150 million unit seller and 70 million unit seller all at one time. Boom, bang, bow. Let's go. Let's throw our first our most expensive console ever. I mean, not in terms of inflation, right? When we're considering inflation, but they're easily our most expensive launch console ever by like $150, right? The Wii U, you could buy the white console, the base white console for $300. The Switch was $300, and prior to that, everything was like $249 or lower, right? And then they're just they're asking $450 in a world that, like, honestly, I think that's a fine price. Like, I was hoping for $400, but I'm more impressed by the hardware than I expected to be. Fine with the price of the hardware. But for $80 to throw video games out there, they're asking $80 for a daggum Kirby game. Basically a complete edition of a port, right? They're adding a DLC. That's great, and that's their head. Oh, this is a $60 Kirby game that comes with a DLC, a $20 DLC, $80. No, Nintendo. This is a 4-year-old Kirby game at this point.
Nintendo.
It's a 4-year-old Kirby game at this point that should be on your Nintendo Selects for $20. So you added $20 DLC. You added some improvements. It should be no more than $60.
Them Nintendo Selects are long gone, boy.
Oh yeah, right. So yeah, maybe not $20. Nintendo Select maybe should be $30-$40 or something at this point. I don't know.
They will never select anything ever again, I feel like.
Yeah. Player's Choice, Nintendo Select, all those great days of getting half price video games that are first party games. I mean, really from anybody, I feel like, I mean, you see sales and stuff, but I miss I think that's a physical retailer type of thing that is of the past, but yeah, it's
so two-parter here. So, well, Evan, you sound like you're kind of defending at the beginning, but also you don't like it.
No,
I mean, nobody likes paying more money. Nobody likes paying more money, right? Obviously,
of course,
right. I think it's a poor choice by Nintendo.
I do as well. I don't know that I can elaborate further. I think they would have to really prove everybody wrong. There's got to be a shit ton of stuff in this game for it to be an $80 game. Now, is this going to totally blow over when Grand Theft Auto comes out at $90 or $100 and then the whole industry moves up to $80? Probably. We're going to forget all about Mario Kart when everything moves up, but
I'm really curious, right? So like the rest of the industry has I mean truly already moved beyond the $70 price point with early access, with a deluxe edition, complete edition, collect, all these things. I mean, and Nintendo has its own collector's editions and stuff too.
You're about
right?
to have that happen with Doom the Dark Age. They just announced a pre-purchase.
Oh yeah, Xbox. I feel like Xbox is doing. I feel like Xbox is doing this with every release now. They're like, oh, play early for an extra $20, and it's just like, what, like with Avowed, it was like literally just play, early access with a couple cosmetics or something for
nothing special.
Which is unreal to me. Like at least with Starfield, it was like, okay, you get the first DLC, which ended up not being great, and but it's like at least I feel like I was getting content for that extra.
You're getting something for your money.
Yeah, and it's like I think Nintendo's approach is like, well, why we're not the game releases on this day. Like I feel like the concept of early access just seems so like foreign, and which it's I kind of appreciate that. And like if we were in a world, right, like so in the 90s, right, there was a world that there were $100 video games and there was $30 games and $50, like the pricing was like, all right, this is the cost that to make the game, the cost to like actually print the copy of the game, because sometimes there were actual chips on the cartridges, right? And the
quality of the name, brand recognition, like
right, and like
so it made sense, right?
So, yeah,
but now we're in like a standardized.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're still in that price, and I would be okay to return to that, just in the sense of like that to me would make it I think a broader range of games more
accessible or approachable.
Yeah, right. As opposed to it's like, oh, like if I'm paying $70 for a video game, I'm only buying Red Dead Redemption, GTA, or whatever like that. I'm not gonna go out and buy Star Wars Outlaws when I have maybe Star Wars because it's got the Star Wars name, but like why would I buy a new IP that has no recognition, right? Like which exactly. Xbox is moving toward that, right? I mean, South of Midnight's a $40 game. I believe Hellblade 2 is like something like around that. Avowed isn't a full $70, maybe Avowed's $70, but some of their other games, right, are not. They're pricing their games a little differently. So like I appreciate that Xbox is doing that a little bit, but so unless the industry is just moving back to that, which would be great, I think it would be great, because then it just, again, like I said, I think it makes sense. And then it's like I'm okay with $80-$90 existing, because then I don't feel like I need to buy those, and I'm not like it's not every game is coming out. It's like, oh, if I want to play a video game, I have to go spend $80. It's like if I want to play the video game, right, then I'll go spend $80. But if I don't want to, I can go get a perfectly good game for $50. That is, like 5/8 of what that game is. That $80 game is.
And a lot of people will argue that. I think your PC Master Race people argue the counterpoint is like that's kind of how it is on Steam. Obviously some of these titles are on every platform, but a lot of indies and those mid-tier games do release on Steam, not only, but then you get those prices plus the sales. And so you do get to run the gamut of the pricing scale. Staying on the topic of Nintendo, I got a two-parter question. We'll start with Curtis. Donkey Kong Bonanza. So this game is not a launch title, comes out in July. It's priced at $70, not $80. So what does that say about the disparity there between the two games? And are you interested in this game at all? Have you seen anything about it?
I haven't seen it. Not interested in it. I think the last time I played a Donkey Kong game was on Super Nintendo. Maybe. I didn't even realize that there was still a market for this kind of game. I'm curious actually to see what the game itself is even about. Like, it can't be like the platformers of old, right? Like it can't be not for $70. Not, I mean, but yeah, curious to look into it. But I think Donkey Kong is one of my favorite Nintendo characters. But I just the character itself, not really the games. I've never really enjoyed the games all that much. So yeah.
Yeah. So before we jump to Evan, the game is more of like a not open world, but like a action platform adventure type game, 3D world. And
my impression of it, I would say it was going to be like it's like Mario Odyssey with a destructible world.
Yes. So the big thing is
interesting.
the whole world's destructible, basically, right? And
Okay.
so he can like they're kind of like showcasing, almost like, I don't want to say tech demo because it seems like a full game, but they're showcasing the Switch 2's ability to handle volumetric graphics and environments, destructible environments, so you can smash through anything to little bits, throw things, all sorts of stuff. My son watched the Nintendo Treehouse playthrough of this 3 times back to back, so I'm safe to say we'll be getting
You're
this
getting
game. He was obsessed and loved it. It's got the wacky little funny things, so like Donkey Kong does the cool funny stuff, and there's just little quips. My kids are walking around the house going banana because that's something that they say in the game. So banana. Yeah. So Evan, disparity of price, and are you interested in this game?
Yeah, it is interesting. So like for me personally, I'm like I would feel better about paying like I don't think any of these games should be $80, but like to me, I'm like I would in my brain would like make more sense of this being $80 and Mario Kart being $70 than the other way around. And I it's probably just my affinity to the bigger single player focused experience where it's like a Mario Kart, you're just kind of running around a cart. Like, and again, Mario Kart could still prove me wrong, but like this is a more rich, dense, single player experience than I expect to get out of Mario Kart. And I just expect there to be a lot more, game in here as opposed to like Mario Kart has the loop, the gameplay loop that's repeatable, and it's like where this is like actual like game design that just a broader or just more game design, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Again, I could be proven wrong, but especially it also, so like impressions on this game, not necessarily from like the price standpoint, but like this feels like the jump from Mario Odyssey to this feels, it's kind of similar to Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom in the sense of like, all right, we gave you all this stuff in Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, like the hat trick was pretty cool. And now this is like they literally have the depths here that we're looking at right now. And then the destructible environment to me is like the ultra hand ability in Tears of the Kingdom. They're like, okay, and I'm a little concerned about that. So like I think it looks cool. I'm excited to play this game. I've been asking for a 3D Donkey Kong game for 25 years since DK60, since like 2 years after DK64 came out, so 20 whatever some years. DK64, like, so Curtis mentioned like not ever being a huge fan of the games. DK64 is the only game Donkey Kong game I've ever really loved. I guess if you consider the puzzle Donkey Kong games, right, the pre Donkey Kong Country games like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., where you play as Mario or the plumber, and you're going through the puzzles, right? Like I do enjoy those where Donkey Kong was the bad guy. But I like those, and I like DK64, right? So like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, I'm sure I'm a fan of. But yeah, as far as like the Donkey Kong as the good guy playable character, DK64 has really been it for me. And Smash Brothers and stuff like that, but like not a DK game, right? I love DK64, so I've been, like I said, I've been clamoring for this and a successor to Star Fox Adventures since that time, right? Those were games that I loved.
So you're excited. You're more excited about this than Mario Kart World.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely. And like I said, the only hesitancy or the only concern that I'm worried about is just like if they're trying to like I feel like they're moving like, okay, like the Tears of the Kingdom, that ultra hand ability, and then this is like, all right, like the world, and it's like, well, I miss those handcrafted puzzles as opposed to like, all right, let's make the whole world destructible. We'll just like throw some secrets around in the middle of this map, and then you can go find it somewhere. Like I expect there's going to be a little more design to it than that, right? There's probably going to be a little, but more
it's a trap they could fall into, certainly.
Right. Which I felt like was, again, I call the shrines in or the puzzles in Tears of the Kingdom, I call them more creative based puzzles, where the Breath of the Wild is more logic based puzzles, and I don't think that's a precise, but it's a general sentiment that I have toward those the puzzles in those types of games, and I'm hoping this isn't that same transition for DK from Mario Odyssey. We assume this is going to be the Mario team, right? The Mario Odyssey team that's made this. It just screams like a lot of the stuff that we've seen so far. Just like, oh, that they kind of took this stuff, or this is an evolution of that Mario
maybe
Odyssey.
even the same engine, honestly, just running on the new
Right.
Switch 2 hardware.
So
Are you going to pre-order this game? Let's ask that. Are either of you getting the Switch 2 at launch?
Curtis?
World exclusive. No.
I was like, wait, is he?
I can't get it for at least a year. Otherwise, I'll lose my bet.
I've been trying to stay calm. I was like, maybe I'll forget about it. But I mean, you've got Cyberpunk's gonna look great on it. You got Street Fighter. I don't know if you're a fighter guy.
Yeah.
But
are you getting it at launch?
Yeah, I'm planning on pre-ordering as long as I can get the bundle, right? Like, for I'll pay $50 for Mario Kart World. And
that seems totally fair, right? And they're saying that's like a limited launch bundle. They're not going to keep doing that. I know we kind of went back and forth on the Discord. Like, will they really do that? Will there be a different type of bundle with Mario Kart later? Who knows? But they're saying right now it's a limited bundle that they don't plan to do again.
For the Mario Kart bundle for the holidays for the Switch, right? They every year, get a limited bundle for the holiday season.
Yeah, but they've never said like this is it. I think that was actually intentionally said. But I get your point. Like, is it just something they're saying?
Right,
okay,
right.
so I've already pre-ordered mine because I live in Australia, so things are really easy here. I literally just went on the website.
You got the cheapest.
I've also got the cheapest
or
one
whatever for the system, right? It's like the equivalent of like $430 for the just the system itself, maybe, right? Not the bundle.
Yeah. Everything's discounted. So yeah, I'm saving like $30. I think it's like $470 US when I pay. But it was super easy, right? There's no drama, none of this North American stuff. I literally just went to EB Games. I was just like, I wonder if I can pre-order this. Click pre-order, 50 AUD down. It's like $35 US. All done, and good to go. So I do have the pre-order. Open to canceling if my mind changes, but knowing that my kids are in Super Mario Kart mode right now on the current Switch. So we've been going back doing all the races. They have the little wheels, so we'll get the wheels as well.
Super Mario Kart on the SNES app.
Sorry, Mario Kart 8.
I'm just kidding.
They like the Super Mario Kart map though.
Oh, nice.
So,
a question
is go ahead
real quick. What are we thinking about stock for this thing? Is it going to be? Should I pre-order a copy just to scalp it, or and if I do that,
you're about to get a ton of hate.
Does that invalidate the? Does that mean I lose the bet? So because I wouldn't be opening it,
absolutely,
I wouldn't be using it.
You lose the bet twice if you buy it and scalp it.
If you scalp, yeah. There's a special place in hell for scalpers.
I was just, I that is a genuine question, though. I am curious. Is there, because I haven't read anything about it.
I thought I saw.
I
don't know what store said this, but I thought it was maybe EB Games or something was like allocated 100 per store or something like that.
Yeah. So GameStop here, like that was like the speculation was they were getting like 100 per store or something like that, and like it sounds like Nintendo's been shipping units over here since like January or February or something like that. Just like it sounds like this is going to be the most available a Nintendo system has ever been at launch in terms of quantity. And I think they're just trying to overwhelm scalping just by availability of the system.
That's
which
amazing.
is
I love it.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's as many as excuse me. It sounds like there's as many as 2 million units that are already in the US. But from then, and there's no solid number other than people are pretty confident there was like over 750,000 sent in like February or something like that. But like, I've seen numbers from over 1 million to 2 million, in speculation.
Speaking of launch, maybe this is what we'll wrap up on because we're at an hour and a half. Is this a weak launch? It feels pretty weak to me. I mean, you're pinning everything on one first party title.
Well, they also have they also have that $10
tech demo.
That packing game that you can pay $10 to download.
Yeah. The packing game that looks terrible anyway. and then pay $10 to get it.
It has no Wii Sports. It's
even
no Nintendo Land. It's not even 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, dude. Like we're just
The
going
1-2 Switch
downhill.
was $50, but so
yeah, terrible on that. But it feels like a weak launch, right? Like, sure, people are gonna, oh, you can play Cyberpunk now. Everybody that's wanted to play Cyberpunk has played it or has had the opportunity to buy it. Is it going to be great that it's on Switch? Yes, I'm sure. Yes, there are outliers that are just Switch owners.
Our buddy ATB, he's thought because he hasn't played it. He's just like, oh, he's like, I'm buying that day one. He's like that's what he's most excited to play on the Switch.
And that's great. But when you look at terms of like a robust launch, you're getting some old games and Mario Kart. Right. There's no new games as far as I know.
What I honestly like I'm looking forward to carry me to Donkey Kong the most is things like F-Zero GX that I've never played, Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2, right? Like the GameCube. The GameCube app is like one of the most exciting things about the launch lineup for me.
Right.
And just the fact that it exists. I wish there was more than 3 games on it. Like, come on. But yeah, I definitely think that it just
like, what are they doing? What do you think they're doing? Like, what is going on? Is stuff just not ready, or are they holding it back?
Right.
They want to sell those Christmas sales, dude.
To me, like Mario Kart is I mean, it's certainly a system seller of some, but to me, it's not a launch seller necessarily. Like Mario Kart is just like, it's the game. Oh, you're getting a Nintendo system. You're getting Mario Kart and or Smash, right? Like the GameCube to me was Smash Melee. Every other generation's pretty much been Mario Kart. Is that multiplayer party title that you're gonna like? Okay, like Nintendo's more of a multiplayer type of local multiplayer, like party game type of system than other systems anyway. And then, but like, to me, like Breath of the Wild was by far a much better, even though it was cross-gen, right? Because like you only have 13 million. That's one thing you're competing with too. We still don't have the data on Metroid Prime, and I'm like, if they come out and it's just like, all right, Metroid Prime is Beyond is on June 5th.
What's up with that? What is up with that? Why is they have no time?
I thought for sure it was going to be that and like the Mario Kart game, right? Like I was just like, perfect. That to me is a good lineup because it's like you've got the Mario Kart name to sell, like just kind of the masses, and then the Metroid Prime, like it was like, oh, this is going to be able to put Metroid on the map a little bit in terms of a franchise that hasn't always sold well, but it's like, all right, this is going to be our biggest Metroid game yet, and like, and it's like, oh, I got to get that Metroid game, and then it's like all of a sudden you have all these people that are like, I got to get the Switch too. And it's like, well, I might as well pick up this Metroid game now, discovering Metroid Prime. And like, to me, I'm like, you would have sold 15 million copies of Metroid Prime that way. And maybe they still but yeah, so that's kind of where like Metroid Prime, if Metroid Prime was there at launch, I think this would have been fine. But there isn't that, it doesn't feel like there is that single player, like let me just dive into and get lost in the system.
There's no game changer, right? I think they played it too safe. They were like, oh, we're gonna like literally we're comparing this Mario Kart to Forza and Breath of the Wild, like they're making it this open world thing, and it feels like they played it safe because I'm looking at the launch titles from the original Switch, and it wasn't that great then either, right? It was like 1-2 Switch, Just Dance, Skylanders, Bomberman, Snipper Clips, which is great, but not a big title. Shovel Knight, and some racing game, and the Breath of the Wild, which was like blew everyone away, right? That the change of the Zelda formula, and they kind of like changed the Mario Kart formula here, but I just don't. It feels like they tried to replicate that while playing it safe, and it's just not going to be the same. I don't think.
Yeah, I like I said, like obviously Mario Kart's it sold twice as many copies, more than twice as many copies of Breath of the Wild, right? Mario Kart 8 did. Yeah, but
definitely a wider audience, right? Like when you get all things considered.
It's not, but like your wider audience isn't the early adopters, right? Like, like it was just like Breath of the Wild was this, like, this was it was a complete game changer. It was a massive innovation on not only like the things that Nintendo has ever done, right? Especially with the franchise and everything, but it was a massive like innovation and evolution of like video games as a whole, right? Like it was kind of, it did something like it took inspiration from things like Skyrim and stuff like that, but it was just like, it was the first of its kind. And, this is not the first. I mean, we just called it, we're comparing it to Forza Horizon, right? Like, this has been done before, and this is just like the first time Nintendo's doing it. And where it's, I mean, honestly, even if DK was there with it, or you know, like
I thought it was, and then I was like, oh, it comes out in July.
It's another month later.
And like that was so their strategy with the Switch, right? They launched with like 30 some games or something like that. They launched with a ton of games on the Wii U, and like they attribute a lot of that failure to like it's just like we had all the launch lineups, and then people forgot about they bought their 2 or 3 games at the launch, and then just kind of forgot about the rest of the launch lineup, and then nothing was coming out for the next year, right? And then so it went completely dry, and so like their strategy with the Switch was like, okay, we'll have killer.
It was like 1 a quarter, kind of, right?
Yeah. Right, and then it's just like every month. It was every month. Like they had like you know right after that they had you know they had Mario Kart, they had ARMS, they had Splatoon, they had you know it's like month after month after month. There was titles
Super Mario Odyssey,
Mario Odyssey, right? So it's like by the end of the year you have a ton of like excellent games, and they were just spread out. And like I'm wondering if this is like that was their goal, right? And that's I'm sure that's their goal here, and we're gonna find out. I'm sure more titles that are coming out, but by the end of the year, there is going to be already we know of a pretty decent lineup, right? We've got Metroid Prime, we've got Donkey Kong, we've got Mario Kart World, we've got Pokemon Legends ZA, we've got I feel like there's a couple other things that we've Dragon Drive. If Dragon Drive is gonna fall harder than ARMS, I'm sorry. Like that. Gosh,
have you seen this one, Curtis?
No, I have not seen it.
ARMS sounds awful. Legs. This literally doesn't have legs.
All jokes aside, like we respect everybody with accessibility issues, but it's a wheelchair basketball game.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. Okay.
Yeah, they're really.
It just looks so empty. Like
it does. Like, it looks very like game jam-ish. I don't know.
The only reason it exists, I think, is just like, look, we have a way to use both Joy-Cons as a mouse functionality. Yeah. So like, it's like, which is like, it's like,
interesting.
Yeah. So it's like it's this like idea of like, no, think beyond just your traditional mouse that you have the where you use the mouse and as a cursor kind of thing or as a first person shooter, right? Like thing, and it's like, no, this is mouse functionality, but you got 2 of them. We're coming in here and we're Nintendo-fying the mouse, right? And it's like that's cool. There just needed to be more to it to me. Like from what we've seen so far, it just looks so like there looks like there's just a little to it. It's just like make this more of a robust thing, right? Like that's a cool idea. I love the innovation of like, oh, this you could do this with 2 mice. You do different things with it, right? And the spec, but like it just put more game to this, right? Like you look like you're trying to compete with Rocket League, and you're just not even close.
Oh no, it looks like my kid's first game.
That's super.
Here it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look a lot. It does look a lot like Rocket League. Yeah,
no, I mean it looks like a Flash game built for Nintendo Switch. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I was unimpressed. If it was more robust, I'd totally I'd be interested. Yeah,
watch this.
To be clear, the picture for this game has nothing to do with the wheelchair part.
This guy's talking crap about it, but look, he's already playing the game in that screenshot there.
My name is in there. My name is in there. God damn it! Oh my god!
It's a beta tester. That's amazing.
Yeah, you got me. All right, let's round out the show on that. I'm so disappointed I didn't have to break you guys up. You're a little too cordial. I'm just mad. Full crap.
Wear that headband when you're playing Mullet Mad Jack. It'll feel.
Ooh, I like that. I'll gel my hair and grab an energy drink, crush it in my hand. Anything you guys want to round out with? I think we're looking forward to Switch 2. We got a long holiday weekend here. I'm sure everybody's going to get some gaming in. I'm sure we're all going to go play Blueprints and Mullet Mad Jack right after this. Anything from you guys?
What are you looking forward to most, Mark, for the Switch launch here? Or this launch window, we'll say.
Launch window, the Switch. And I think it is Mario Kart. I am going to get the camera. So I'm gonna get that after we watch the Mario Kart Treehouse or the Direct or whatever. There's a bunch of different features with the camera, but the one thing that my kids and I liked was like you can recognize up to 4 people at once, and then it puts your face above your racer. So in the field of 24 racers, we can see when we're passing each other and like make faces at each other and stuff. And I just think that'll be fun with my kids. So
do you think that's a software thing within the Switch itself, or is that a camera feature? You know what I'm saying? Like if I grab another camera, do you think it's still going to be able to recognize up to 4 faces?
I think it's a software thing on the Switch.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
One last thing I do want to just throw out there. You guys need to look up if you haven't already, haven't heard of it. Come full circle from how we started about Dredge. Check out Dreadmore. If you haven't seen this,
this is the one that's like looks like a complete copycat of Dredge, right?
It's like
people were pissed
Dredge.
about this.
Yeah, they were saying it was like Dredgemore. It's like it's a little more like a 3D game,
Dredgemore is right? Yeah, exactly.
I saw something on that.
People were complaining because even the studio's logo looks like a ripoff of the Dredge studio.
So that's what I was about to say, right? Like there's a lot of mystery going on. I hadn't heard all about all the drama, but there's a lot of mystery going on about it right now because this studio is completely unknown and everything like that. So people don't even know if this is like a full-fledged game or if this was just like a tech demo kind of thing or what.
Isn't this the same studio that made Body Cam?
Shut up. That would be outrageous. Just two French guys. Just slamming out a
copycat
copy.
the concept
Yeah.
that got
if that turns out to be true, it looks awesome. There was like some combat, the same inventory. You're out there like fishing with like an actual fishing pole, but then you can still drive your boat and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys know what thalassophobia is, but it's basically like fear of the ocean, right? And I have that in spades. And watching that boat go up and down in the like the big storm, and then like the giant Kraken tentacles come out, dude. Like I was like, no, but I got to after playing Dread. So I hope it turns out to be true. If you guys haven't seen like the trailers for it, or like kind of like I said, the tech demo, whatever you want to call it, highly recommend it. It looked really, really cool.
It does look good.
I feel like this is the second time we've heard about your thalassophobia, you having that, and like because every time I remember thinking this last time. I don't know if it was on the show that we talked about it, but it's like you put so many hours into Subnautica.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So many hours of wondering why I'm doing this to myself too.
But it was so
once you get out of that starter like pretty area, right, and then you start going down into the dark depth, and you just see shadows and stuff. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Like the little bit of it that I have is like just completely like on like stage or whatever with Subnautica, and that is like the fear of just not having land anywhere, right?
Sure.
Like, and it's just like that is Subnautica. There's no land. Like there is, I guess there are tiny little islands, right, like to find, but it's just like this fear of like, oh my gosh, like I have nowhere to go. Like there's part of like I don't want to say I have a fear of going to Hawaii, because I was like for a long time I thought I would love to live in Hawaii, and then I was just like, I feel like somebody brought up the sense of isolation, right? Like I'm like, oh, that's crazy to think, like you're hours of plane ride away from anything else, and I was like,
you're just out there.
I would like to visit it, but I don't know that I would like to live there. That sense like of living there would probably take its toll.
I love it. So yeah, that's it for me. Also want to point out, I don't remember exactly what is from the Star Wars Celebration. There's going to be a panel on the Star Wars Zero Company game. I don't know if it's happened already or if it's going to be coming out here very soon. But super excited to see more about that.
Yep.
Nice. All right. One last thing for me is I need somebody out there to, if they aren't already a part of our Discord, join our Discord and either start reading or listening to the Red Rising series. Oh, Curtis, I started listening to audiobooks. I took a page out of your book, right?
I love it.
I was going to Florida, right? So I was driving my family to Florida. I was driving through the middle of the night, and I was like, all right, I need something to just kind of keep me in the zone and keep me awake, right? So there's like the Libby app where you can like rent audiobooks through like all like libraries in your state or whatever, and blah blah blah. So I started this Red Rising series. It's by Pierce Brown. But I just happened to start it. It's like there's 6 books currently. The 7th book is supposed to come out next year, and they're about 20 hours long for a listen. So they're pretty long, but hefty books, right? But I am like 4 or 5 hours into the 3rd book, right? I started these books 3 weeks ago, and I've listened to about 45 hours of these books, and
Loving it.
oh my gosh, it's so good. So first off, check out Red Rising, and Mullet Mad Jack, right? So, but so I added a books thread. So, again, if you're listening here, if you've gotten this far, check out Red Rising. Come join it. I need somebody to read or listen to this book, or somebody that's read it. I need to talk to somebody about these books because they're so stinking good. And I'm just like, that's all I'm telling people is that they're so stinking good. I need somebody to be able to talk about these books with, because my goodness. I finished the 2nd book and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I was listening to the 1st book. I was like, all right, this is a long listen, I guess, not long read, long listen. So I was like, I'm sure it's like, all right, I'll listen to the book and then I'll move on to the 2nd book at some point. I'm enjoying this. But like, by the time I finished that 1st book, I was like, nope, I gotta move to the 2nd book. I gotta move to the 2nd book. I was like, all right, I'm going to force myself to take a break here after I finish the 2nd book. And then like, so I finished the 2nd book, and like I had a book that my pastor at my church recommended me to listen to or read or whatever. So it's like I started that, and I got a couple hours into that, and I was like, I got to go back to the 3rd book, and I've started the 3rd book, and now I'm 4 hours into the 3rd book, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of it. It's so
I don't want to increase your heart palpitations even further, but there's also a board game.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I knew I'd heard of Red Rising, and so
Stonemeyer.
I was like,
exactly.
Where have I heard of Red Rising? I was like, it's got to be like, I'm sure it's a movie. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm definitely like, that was actually part of why I started the book, because like it was the name that stood out. I rented a bunch of these books or whatever audiobooks, and I was like, I've heard of Red Rising. I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to something that I was certain it was like a movie or a show that I'd heard of, right? And so I was like, I'm gonna start this because then I can go watch the movie, right? And then like I was like looking up the movie, and I was like, oh, there was going to be a movie, and then there wasn't. And there might be a show that's in development. And I was like, where did I hear about this name? Where did I hear about this book? And then I was like, Stonemeyer. Stonemeyer loves the Red Rising series. So maybe Stonemeyer, if he's listening, Jeremy Stagmeyer.
Join our Discord.
Join our Discord, Jeremy Stagmeyer. But he's a big fan of the series. He's a big fan of, so if that's not an endorsement, right? If my endorsement wasn't some, Jeremy Stagmeyer is a big fan of the series. He's so a big fan that he made a board game about it. So then I was like, oh, I gotta look up the board game. And now I'm like, now I want the stinking board game. So and I was like looking at the board game and some of the pictures, and I was like, oh, I know that reference. So I was very excited about that. So I have a board game buddy. I'm gonna ask him if he's read these books. He's a book reader listener too. So I'll have to see if I'm but the guy I play board games with. But anyway, so that my final thoughts on my return here is Red Rising series and Mullet Mad Jack.
All right, there we go. Love to see it in a crisp 1 hour 47 minutes.
Yeah,
my
I'm at the 1 hour
where I'm
requirement,
at.
right?
Yeah, my wife's wondering where I'm at because I told her an hour for sure. For sure this time, for sure.
You knew I was coming on here.
I was gonna cut you off. I was trying. I literally tried so many times to wrap up the episode. No, it's fine. It's all good. We had stuff to talk about. It was good to have everybody back. I know somebody in the Discord was clamoring for the return of 2 hour episodes. Here you go. And speaking of
my return,
check the comments. Leave us your thoughts on this whole Nintendo Switch thing. Maybe if you've played some of these games like Blueprints or Mullet Mad Jack, let us know if you liked them or not. And definitely join our Discord. The link's always in the description. And we'll continue between each episode, which comes out every 2 weeks. Anything else in episode 28, guys?
Thanks for watching.
Keep gaming. We'll catch you next time.
Ready, set, go. Games on channel. 3 amigos. Talking pixels. Dreams and heroes. Every level. quest, gaming moment.